You sinned, just like my Twitch chat. And I convinced them to come with me to the church, give me all of their dirty little secrets. And I wrote this song. This video goes in the process of me taking all of those sins and turning them into the story behind One Hell of a Life. If you want to see me go through those sins one by one, click the link below. And down there you can also find the song, and you know the rest. On to the video. So thank you to everybody that confessed their sins. That was wonderful. It was a damn good time. Let's get to the writing of the things. So the biggest thing I wanted to show off, and part of what made me think, hey, I should probably do is like actually show this off on stream and start making content revolving this document. So it's meant to be for like songwriting, but this can just be good for in general concept development, because that's what it is. This document I use to it's basically like a goal sheet and a sort of thing to like focus a whole, like every story has a protagonist. Who is in the way of the protagonist? What are their goals? This will look very familiar for people who have written stories, and especially written character sheets before, since characters need goals to do things in stories. That's kind of just how stories work. Basically, I made 3 versions of this document for each conflict style, whether it's person versus person, person versus self, or person versus... Yes, I did link that in there because I had to. With the way I worded these questions, I worded them in such a way to where people that use them could put as much answers, be as specific with their answers as they want to be. So it's not like they have to be like, oh, it's absolutely person versus person. Like the parts of that can shift a little bit. Every story has a main character. In this case, we'll say it's me. The main character is a version of Julian that is a troubled hedonist. There we go. What are the character's most urgent goals? What do they need to happen as soon as possible? Looking back at this for a moment, forgive me, Dad. I didn't even see the other half of that. Hedon Julian. We'll go with that. Why not? Just to be funny. Hedon Julian wants to be free from his problems. He seeks forgiveness and salvation from his sins and from himself. How does this character feel about themselves? Do they like who they are? Important detail, since in my mind, how much a character likes themselves tells a lot about who they are, how they interact with the world. So for Hedon Julian, as we put that down, Hedon Julian dislikes his sins and therefore dislikes himself. The destructiveness and dangerousness of flaws is something that I've liked to incorporate into writing just in general, not just with music, but especially for my narrative writing. It's a great way to like contextualize said flaws. So you can have a kleptomaniac, right? Someone who loves to steal things, who just who like tries to stop themselves but can't. Setting that specificity of like why they do that, whether it's like, oh, you know, they see like a guitar pick that's cool and like they'll grab it because like why not, like it's just a pick. Or the other person, like they have to steal a fork every time they go to a restaurant. Like the compulsivity of that, like by saying how destructive the flaw is, it says more on like how much I can form a character, because flaws are character. Despite what he thinks / says, his pursuit of pleasure and fun goes above all else. And now we get to talk about Father Havoc, or just the father, the priest, whoever. Father Havoc is a renowned man of the clergy. His goal is to save all children of God from sin. He is a man of empathy, kindness, and respect. Unfortunately, while he is holy, he is still human. What is the MC's relationship to this person? How do they feel about it? How does the opposing character feel about them? So this one This question is meant to like set the whole dichotomy of like protagonist versus antagonist. While they are both strangers, Father Havoc, as a man of faith, he seeks to understand Hedon Julian and his compulsive debauchery. That just came to me as I was writing that, and I love that pair of words. Compulsive debauchery. I've been memed. Oh boy. Jesus. Let me open link. Yeah, that is gold. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And you can really see like the Asian eyes in me too, because like, damn, do I really go Asian with this? The way I'm crafting this character in the story and like how I want to like present this song, dude can't help but have no impulse control. He is the nicest, sweetest guy, but he is ruled by his impulses. So someone's like, yo, it'd be funny if you named your dog Fuckface McGee, therefore Fuckface McGee. It's peak writing. So to answer this question, we'll say Hedon Julian gives up over and over. Change is hard, and he struggles to grasp accountability. Father Havoc forgives him for that, but while he is holy, he is still a man. Patience can only go so far. And as for these last sets of questions, because every story has an end, how many of the MC's goals are achieved in the end? None whatsoever. Hedon Julian is still ruled by his lack of impulse control. If MC didn't achieve any of their goals, are they still satisfied in the end? Yes. Is this the end of the chapter or the end of the book? Are you leaving this open-ended to tell future stories? A question like this, in regard to music, and part of why I like to do lyrics before doing anything musically, is because I like to use the words to provide like the context of like the different musical shifts I make. Like in general though, just thinking about like the sort of shifts between like dynamics, whether it's like fast to soft, like clean to distorted, quiet to loud, things of that nature. Like I like to give that narrative purpose. So like that whole like open-ended thing, like whether I actually like resolve the chord progression by landing on that like home chord, or like leave it, like Silverline Lie, for example. I don't even finish Silverline Lie at the end. I just sing a silver line and then it just fades out. Hedon Julian is a tale of a cycle. While the story ends, it will continue again. Kind of a vague answer, but it's fine. Now, we can finally touch the lyrics on this. Part of why I also start with the chorus, just to explain that for those who haven't heard the whole breakdown of my process. I like to start with the chorus because that summarizes the whole narrative. Chorus is the most important part of the song, and it's the one that like, more than anything, is the one that's like, hey audience, sing along to this part. It's typically the one with the least amount of musical information. It's typically the one that's like got the most repetition. It is like the distillation of the main idea of the story. So I usually start with that, but since I had that really good verse idea, I'll write that down. Can you keep a secret? Can you hold it close? Well, sorry, Father. Sorry, God. A bit insufferable. Oh, we have a verse 1A. I like to do a verse 1A, verse 1B, because your verses give, what's the word? They're the exposition, they give the plot. So it helps to have a lot of information, especially if like, you know, you write longer songs or longish songs like I do, typically going over 3 minutes. Please give me a chance, because I'd love to change. Love that line. matter what all the things I do them all the same. That's also another thing to think about with like the whole like subjectivity of like section titles, because some would say like, since I'm imagining I'll keep a similar pattern here, I could say all this is a verse, and then the pre-chorus could be like a verse 1b because it's an actually different section. But even then, I'll just leave it at that. Go back to the narrative checklist, see if I've got anything I can pull from for something to put in the chorus. Compulsive debauchery. See if I can fit that in. I admit I'm compulsive. Yes, I'm a little crazed. But the life of the party, because Don Julian definitely views himself this way, does his part in the play. Maybe they're bad habits. Maybe I should stop. By the time the sun comes up, I've already forgot. We'll have that lead straight into the chorus because I love when songs do that. I'm a worthless, sorry sinner who can't save himself. I'm speeding down the fast lane, straight down to hell. Getting kind of cliche, but that's fine. I'll get bruised and black out by the end of the night, and at the end of the road, I'll live one hell of a life. In fact, that's gonna be the title. We'll call this song, well, never mind, One Hell of a Life. I think, as I'm hearing it in my head and I've been enjoying like voice acty things in music, especially doing that whole delusional mantra thing, now that I've shared it, I can talk about it. It's been fun, like voice acting for music and like actually making that work. Insert ad-libs of Father Havoc meeting with Julian, prompting him to confess his sins. It's rare I'll have actual sun words in the intro, because if I have an intro, usually it's instrumental, or I just go straight into the first verse, or I'll do what I did with the Optimism and do like a half chorus. But in that little template, I put things just in case I do little things just for fun. Never had that, although I am feeling tense right now. Damn, did y'all hear that? Oof. We'll just repeat this a couple times because I'm hearing that in my head. One hell of a... Yes. There we go. So we're already almost done now, which I love being at this point, and especially like getting as fast at this as I have. Once I have a chorus, since I usually start with a chorus, I get like a verse done, write a pre-chorus to tie it together, and then do it all again. Because basically your second verse is either going to go deeper on like the plot points or introduce a new layer of context. Since the verses add context to the chorus, like expand on the details, like looking at what we have now. I'm a worthless, sorry sinner who can't save himself. I'm speeding down the fast lane, straight down to hell. I'll get bruised and black out by the end of the night. At the end of the road, I'll have lived one hell of a life. This all builds up to that, like, you know, this line I'm kind of proud of. I'm sorry, Father. I'm sorry, God. I'm a bit insufferable. Because sometimes I do see myself that way. Because like I feel like everyone who does content, especially like regularly does content, like putting themselves as a person out there, we're a little bit annoying. But like most people, like they manage it in a certain way. Like I like to think I'm the fun kind of annoying, but I know people will have different answers for that. So I think I'll change that "can you" to "I'm aware," kind of like saying the whole like most people are aware of the problems they have, and even if like they need someone to tell them to fix them or like how to fix them, usually they'll already know to an extent and like don't want to hear it. I know I've been that person, so I'm keeping that same sort of like melodic idea in my head. Can you keep a secret? I'm aware it's a problem. So okay, so there isn't rhyme there. That's fine. I'm aware it's wrong. We'll go with that. But Father, don't you understand? I think I rhyme on this part. But Father, don't you understand? Rhyme Zone. When you're stuck, rhymezone.com. It's a wonderful resource to find rhymes. So you type in a word, you get so many different things. things that rhyme, things that sort of rhyme. You can select specific near rhymes, but that kind of works a little weird because we'll get all the way to like pull a pit bull rhyme Kodak with Kodak. I could. Bilbon, drinking song, get along. Malzadon. That wasn't helpful, but that was fun. I can't help but go along. Feels good to get loose, to get away from it all. So forgive me for every sin I've done. Keep going till I fall. I admit I'm hedonistic. We'll throw that in there. Hedonistic. Little crass. Oh god, am I gonna write that? Okay, I have to. It's good writing. It's funny writing. Can't lose my mind. No, okay, I was gonna say something like see a nice juicy ass, but no, I'm not. Like, thinking about it, getting that close to writing it, no. When I empty the glass, that's a bit more, a little more tame. So keep the old fashions coming. Chase it with flavored rum. The evil's already won. And then for your bridge. Finally, the bridge, one of the most important parts of the song. This is where you either like recontextualize things, you hit like on like the sharpest and like most precise, most intense details. For this song, I'm thinking it'd be fun to do like a sort of chant prayer sort of thing, like playing off of that whole like, you know, preacher thing. Forgive me, Father, if you can. Forgive me, Mother, 'cause I'm a broken man. Forgive me, God, being stuck in a loop just feels too damn good to go with the group. And with all of that, we are done. Inspired by this document where we wrote out a story of Hedon Julian and Father Havoc, and inspired by all of the sins submitted by chat.
Father, what sins do you have to confess to us tonight?
And with that, the lyrics are done. On to putting music to those words. And that'll be the next video in this series where you get to hear from start to finish how this song you're listening to right now was put together. And if you'd like to just hear the song in full, it's on every platform you can think of. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Pandora, Awa, whatever the hell that is. But yeah, that's there. The link where I go over the sins in full is there. And yeah, it's YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. You know, you stuck around this long, which thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. It really does help and go a long way. Thank you, and with that, peace!